Hello, Contrarian capitalists. Hello, fellow Contrarian capitalists. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to this episode. Just before we get started, just trying to build up a big as an audience as I can. So if you can like and subscribe to the channel, that way you'll be notified and whatnot when new videos pop up. That would be incredibly helpful for the channel to spread this word out to as many people as possible. Still haven't figured out how to share my screen live, to be honest with you. So, hey, you got to look at my face for a little while. So I'm going to be looking at an article here, and this is quite an interesting article that came up the other day. This is off the BBC website here over in United Kingdom, which is where I'm based, or based in Brighton, actually, in the south of England. And this is from BBC, and this is AstraZeneca, vaccine death payout of £120,000. It's been deemed inadequate by this gentleman's fiance. And basically, it's a woman whose partner died after having an AstraZeneca jab, has become the first person apparently to receive compensation for I'm going to follow George Gammon, I'm going to say sevaceous sickness, just to keep it YouTube friendly. First person to receive compensation over a sevaceous vaccine death. This is interesting because this could set a very dangerous precedent and a very interesting precedent moving forward. As I said on the channel before, I'm a bit skeptical. I'm very cynical with these sort of things. You know, this sevaceous sickness, was it, brought in purposely and that sort of stuff? That's not for this video, but, I like to question everything, and let's try and figure out what's going on here and how this can impact potentially a lot of people moving forward. Because if this woman's been able to claim successfully and has been awarded a sum of £120,000, there could be a lot more people out there that are entitled possibly to a similar sum. That's a key thing to remember here. So she's been awarded the maximum settlement of £120,000. She's complained that it's not enough and that it should have been a lot more. Obviously, I'm sorry for your loss. I think it's very difficult, having studied environmental economics years ago at university. It's very difficult to put, a cost or a number on a life, to be honest. I know people would like to do that, but it's very difficult to do that. She also complained that she's waited too long for compensation. She's been able to gain compensation under the Vaccine Damage Payment Scheme of 1979. And apparently the amount hadn't kept track with inflation since the scheme was set up. So that'd be interesting. Again, I haven't deep dived into the payment scheme properly, to be honest. I just thought the article was interesting. But I'd love to know what that number is. If you include inflation from 1979, it's probably a lot more. But what the scheme does do, it offers a one-off tax-free sum of up to £120,000, and the payments don't affect people's rights to take legal action. They can have implication for benefits, as if you're claiming benefits here in England. Then the article goes into basically what happened. Fiance, husband, partner, fiance, sorry, basically complained of excruciating headaches, got admitted to hospital. Unfortunately didn't come out of hospital, and the certificate, death certificate, confirmed that he died due to complications from the vaccine. That's interesting, the fact that that's been put on the death certificate in the first place. The payment coming out has been very, very slow. She says she's heartbroken, understandably so. I think anyone would be in that situation, to be honest. And saying that it's not the proper financial aid that I should, expect, etc., etc., etc. She also claims that the fiance was fit and healthy and would have had a good chance of survival if he would have possibly received treatment earlier. And sort of typical UK bureaucracy, the application process has been lengthy, inefficient, and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, not ideal. But the key thing from the article that I take away is that you have someone who, again, has unfortunately suffered a loss. That loss has been put down due to a vaccine related to the sevaceous sickness, and that woman's been able to claim £120,000. Now that's interesting because, well, how much is in the scheme to give away to people? How many other people are going to be in a situation where they have suffered losses due to possibly vaccine complications? And how many other people are going to be able to claim for that? And if a lot more people come forward and claim for that, who's funding that pot? Is it the taxpayers? Are the taxpayers funding that pot? Is the IMF funding that pot? That's just very interesting to see. I should probably point out my stance isn't, I'm not against this particular individual at all. Actually, kudos to her for that. I'm sorry for the loss. Absolutely. My partner's lost a family member as well in the last couple of years for similar reasons. So I understand the pain and suffering that woman's going through. So I'm not actually against her at all from doing this. I think fair play. It's good that this article's come to light and that there is such a scheme available as well. And again, it's very difficult, always will be, to put a cost on a human life. Very, very difficult to do so. So that's the point of the video. Very, very interesting to know. I would point out, going on to vaccines, and again, there's a lot of rigmarole over the last couple of years, about how effective or ineffective the vaccines may or may not be. I read an article months and months ago in one of the papers here, and it said that there had been a malaria vaccine that had been approved. It's only taken 34 years to go through all the formalities, all the testing, everything to make sure it was safe and healthy for human consumption, let's say. And that's for malaria. For anyone that's ever been bitten by a mosquito or suffered from anything like that, you'll know it's not pleasant. I had it a few years ago when I was traveling, not pleasant at all. You feel like you're pretty much knocking on death's door with something like that, not pleasant. So the fact there's a vaccine out there for malaria is very, very good. But the key thing, it's taken 34 years of rigorous testing in order to be brought to the market. Whereas Pfizer, AstraZeneca, other vaccines in relation to the sebaceous sickness, they've definitely not taken 34 years to come to the market. So I'm skeptical of how effective they are or they're not. And unfortunately, in this woman's circumstances, it seems that the vaccine wasn't very effective at all, because now she's without her fiance. So very interesting if more people come forward and look at claiming under the vaccination scheme. Let's see what happens.